Hi, I'm Brad Schluter. This is another video in the series based on my article called Stick Twisters that was originally published in the October 2015 issue of Drum Magazine. For this video drum lesson, we're going to be looking at the section called Rhythmic Scales. And by rhythmic scales, all I mean is how you divide beats up into smaller and smaller pieces. One of the exercises we're going to do is go from a quarter note all the way down to a 32nd note, including all the even divisions of the beat, which will also include things like 16th note quintuplets and 16th note septuplets. In other words, divisions of 5 parts to a beat and 7 parts to a beat. To start out with what we're going to do is we're going to work on triplets. The 8th note triplet is not a particularly hard pattern. We've all done it a million times, but it's a useful one for learning how to play 5s and 7s, partly because it has odd numbers of notes on each hand, so the accents or the triplets start on opposite hands each time you play one. So if we play those without accents, just count 1 and a 2 and a, the way I'm going to prefer to count triplets. You may prefer 1 triplet, 2 triplet, that's fine. If I just play alternating strokes while I count that way, I'll get a sense of how long the triplet is, etc. And this same sort of method is what we'll do to work through the 5s and the 7s. So if I play notes, just right, left, my tendency is to just think of right, left over and over. But if I start counting, I'll start hearing and thinking about the groups of 3s. 1 and a 2 and a 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 1. Now I start noticing how the hand shifts. You know, the 1 and is over here and the 2 and starts on my left hand. And then if I add accents, it becomes more obvious. I start to feel the pattern and I start to hear it better. 1 and a 2 and a 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 1. Now when I do this, I'm not trying to play loose grip or anything like that. I'm really trying to play down strokes, control strokes, so I get really defined heights, low quiet notes and big loud notes, so I get an expanded dynamic range. I believe this helps you incorporate and internalize the pattern a little bit sooner because you feel it better. If we work on 5s, a similar approach will happen. You just play single strokes and count groups of 5 over that to get a sense of that. How long that pattern is. So if I play the same sort of tempo, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then start accenting those notes, you get a feel for what it feels like to play the pattern, also what they sound like. So if we put the metronome on, now my goal is to line up the clicks with my accents with the click. Now, as I do that sort of a thing, I am slightly adjusting my speeds as I go. As I notice I'm a little in front of the click, I got to back off, widen my spacing a little bit to land a little more square in the next one. And this sort of counter steering, if you do it well enough, it's not really noticeable. But drummers tend to do this all the time, especially when you're working with a metronome click track, whether you're playing a drum set part or something like this on a practice pad. Eventually you'll get to where you can hit these things pretty accurately, but that sort of counter steering thing is a pretty natural process, so don't worry if you notice yourself doing it. It's pretty much the norm. Next up is number 9, the septuplets. Now septuplets are just 7 equal divisions of a beat. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to do the same thing we did with number 8, which was the quintuplets, and number 7, which was the triplets. We're just going to play hand-to-hand notes and count over them. And the only difference is really, instead of saying 7, I'm just going to say sev, because 7 has 2 syllables, and if I'm not careful, I may end up playing 2 notes there instead of 1. So the idea is this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. If I accent the ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And then the last step is to try and line it up with the click. So you can work different intervals as well. I might want to try doing something like 5s and 7s. At the top of this video I was running 7, 5, and 3, 1 beat of each, and that sort of started the 7s on my right hand, the 5s on my left, the 3s on my right, and then vice versa as we went through the pattern the other way. And so the shorter the groups are, the harder they are, because you kind of have to hit them right away. For exercise number 10, what we're going to do is try and play from quarter notes all the way down to 32nd notes, dividing 1 extra pulse, fitting 1 extra pulse between the accents. Let's give it a try. With the metronome, it should sound something like this. 3, 4, 1, 2. So as you work on patterns like this, you can also go in the other direction, go from fast to slow, or you can go from slow to fast to slow, sort of thing. One last thought I'll just throw at you. If you want to play these things with the drum set, one thing to keep in mind is that a lot of the time when you play these things slowly, it kind of brings out sort of the oddness of the pattern. So if you're playing 5s or 7s, they're going to sound more odd when you're playing slowly. Whereas if you play them kind of fast, well, they just sort of sound like a fast roll. So if you're playing 5s and you're going around the kit, it's just going to sound like something really quick. But if you play them slowly, it really brings out the oddness of the pattern as you play those sort of things. Now, that works great if the rest of your band happens to be playing 5s or 7s with you. But if you're trying to play them over other figures, it certainly makes, it'll probably fit better and flow better if you play them more towards the faster end of the spectrum. I appreciate you checking out this video, and I hope you check out a few of the others. I hope you found this fun and interesting, and thanks for watching.